fact, in adolescence, this frontal zone of the brain situated just behind the eyes is not completely connected. One of the many consequences is that some teenagers don't feel good about themselves. Professor Jay Guide has looked further into this question. For the past 10 years, he has submitted teenage twins to MRI examinations at regular intervals, thus putting together a photo album of their cerebral development. Twins were chosen so that genetic factors could be taken into account when evaluating the differences.
For the teenagers, a part of the brain called the frontal lobe is still under construction. And it's not that it's not able to carry out many complicated functions. In fact, it's very good at figuring out how computers work and complicated math and literature that is equal to adults in many ways. But what is most different is when there are strong emotions. And this ability to weigh decisions in the face of peer pressure or high emotions is the most difficult thing for our brains to do. And this is the part that is still getting better during the teen years.
Gillar du mig?
Du är...
Sometimes the teen brain is described as being like a big truck with no brakes. So the passions and the drives are very strong, very powerful after puberty. But the frontal lobes, that part would be like the brakes of the truck, the ability to say, whoa, let's slow down here, let's think about this before doing it. That's the part of the brain that's so late to mature. So this notion of kind of having a very big, fast truck, but the brakes not so good, is often applied to the teen brain.
Yes, I love the risk, no pain, no gain. That's the way I choose to live.
Yeah, I love the risk. That's all I do. I skate.
I love the risk. The risk is crazy. It keeps you going.
The risk keeps me going because the rush of it.
I like the risk because I skate every day, and that's what I do.
Yeah, the risk is pretty crazy, you know. Skateboarding is a new thing out there, so yeah.
Here we see the activity in the brain in a teenager confronting a risk. Confronted with the same risk, the zones of an adult brain are solicited much more actively. According to Jay Guide's work, the connections in the zones responsible for judgment and morality, those of the prefrontal cortex, are the last to reach maturity around 20 years of age. But are there any differences between boys' and girls' brains?
There's a great deal of interest in the differences between boys' brains and girls' brains. But we've been more struck by how similar the boys' and girls' brains are. In terms of which one's bigger or smaller, what is most different is actually the path of growth. And when we look at the trajectories of how the boys' and girls' brains grow, the girls tend to hit their peak gray matter volumes about 1 to 2 years earlier than the boys. And we don't know what this means in terms of academics or social maturation, or it's an intriguing start, but we have a long way to go to figure out the details.
The development of cerebral connections, in other words, the gray matter, is accompanied by the suppression of unused connections up to the age of 21 years at least.
A very important principle for the teenage brain is the use it or lose it principle. And with this hypothesis is that the cells and connections that we use most are the ones that survived. Not only survive, they're actually strengthened and flourish. And the cells and connections that are not used are pruned away. And so this gives us the ability to create our own brain, in a sense, by the activities of our day-to-day life.
The reason for their mood swings also lies in the teenager's brain.